Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, everybody, welcome to Nerds of a Certain Vintage. As always, I'm Patrick. We are 1 week into the movie watching journey for this month. I'm gonna lay my cards on the table. I think this is the worst of the three.
You think this movie was the worst of the three?
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was a good movie.
It was a perfectly serviceable movie. I'm not saying that. I'm thinking that, thinking about what we're going to watch.
You're right. Hot Frosty is going to be much better. Much better than this movie. In terms of
just pure adrenaline junkie wackiness.
Stupidity. Yeah, exactly.
And we got a zombie movie with a musical, a high school zombie movie.
There is no question that Anne and the Apocalypse is going to be top drawer.
Right.
Top of the list.
This was a perfectly okay movie.
All right, so we're gonna rip the bandage off. We watched Four Christmases, yeah. and you should go back and watch the video on YouTube or listen to it on the podcast.
Why we chose this particular movie?
You'll hear the list. I put the video up yesterday. Yesterday, and it was
Bison. Not bad.
It was horror versus rom-com Christmas cage match.
Yes.
So. You'll know that how we picked the movies. So, obviously we started with Four Christmases.
Right.
Four Christmases?
Four Christmases.
Right.
Yes.
Vince Vaugn, and mostly I wanted to see this because we just watched Bad Monkey.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see if...
You could see the inkling of him. Like, they did not let him go full Vince Vaughn.
They didn't do bad, though. They didn't do bad. Here's the thing. A guy like Vince Vaughn, who... his shtick is the fast talking. Right? Like, that's a tricky thing to write for. I think in most movies where that becomes a thing, it's mostly like ad-lib. They're just like, they take multiple takes and they're just like, do your thing, man. Do it. You know, and like Jim Carrey and various ad-lib artists, they take multiple takes and they're like...
Tommy Lee Jones.
Perfect example. Perfect example.
Ad-libbing.
Well known for his improvisation, that guy.
Yeah. David Lynch.
Marlon Brando. The improvisation
with
king.
All his sticky notes.
That's
He's
right.
Forcing people to wear on their shirts.
I'm trying to think of a great Shakespearean actor.
Patrick Stewart.
There you go.
Patrick Stewart.
Improvisation king.
I can guess that Patrick Stewart could probably improv.
I think that guy can do everything. Well, my thing is I feel like...
The techno jargon doesn't have to make sense.
Well, Vince Vaughn, I think... I'm not I have not studied this and looked into it, but I believe that Vince Vaughn and who's his partner who did the Iron Man movie and was in this movie too?
Jon Favreau.
They did Swingers together.
Yes.
And I believe Swingers...
Early days.
Right. I believe that was like sort of an independent thing that they put together themselves. Yeah. It was like a lot of things you see today where they broke into the business by making their own movie.
Right.
And it was mostly about him
The golden age of that is coming.
I think it's about to hit us because like Hollywood doesn't know what the hell they're doing. But I feel like that kind of set the stage for what kind of a character he was.
Right.
And because it was popular, you know, studios were willing to play into that.
I think partly it's his personality too. Like he is that guy.
No, I know, but it's
fast
not like
talking. Like I really don't understand why they never made a Fletch remake with him.
Well, he would be pretty good. Yeah, especially after Bad Monkey. Maybe they will. I didn't think that John Hamm did a bad job. No. But he's not like as big a fast talker as Vince Vaughn is. Plus the fact
he's the guy you're like, man, you are much too good looking to be like depending on fast talking to get away with.
Exactly. Well,
yeah.
I just feel like it would be interesting if people were, studios were writing movies for the fast talking guy because they wouldn't necessarily. They would have to write the script specifically for him and be like, "This is your movie, like you're the guy." Because
and there would have to be spaces in there to be like,
just go right.
Vince Vaughn it up, that kind of
exactly. Do your Vaughn thing. So I'm not. This felt like that, but it also
I saw
felt
peaks of it, but I didn't see. It felt like he was constrained. There was some funny stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to discount it.
Well, we'll start from the beginning because I wanted to mention this because I thought this was very interesting. I'm glad we watched it yesterday so I could kind of reflect on it.
I think that's the way we should do it from now on.
rom-coms always have the meet cute, right?
This did not.
It did. That was
families.
No. This was what was funny about this is that this was an established couple.
Okay.
They had already been together, but the first scene was them acting like they were just meeting for the first time. Yeah, I thought that was very much like playing into the trope, but changing it a little bit. I thought it was very creative because this is an established couple, but they were role playing for sexual purposes at a bar or a party.
Yes.
And he was trying to pick her up, and she was being a bitch about it.
None of it.
Yeah. And so he just started...
even changed his look. Like, I was like, man.
Yeah. He put glasses on and acted like a nerdy business guy.
Right. So here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I like when you hear things.
Yes.
They're usually wrong, but I like when you hear...
He could play Superman. There's a big difference between him being Clark and him being Superman.
There is a universe where he could
play... Get him all jacked up?
Yeah, get him
super jacked?
Kumail Nanjiani.
Absolutely.
That's right. Yeah. You know what, Vince?
Shred that guy up.
Vince, if you want to come hang out in Virginia Beach for a while... I get you on a carnivore diet. I get you in the gym. We will jack your ass out. That doesn't sound right.
No. I just don't think that he's got it in him.
I don't think he wants to. No,
why would you? He's made a perfectly good career out of dad bod.
I know. Well, what's funny in this movie is he's much heavier in that first scene during the meet cute, and then at the end of the movie, when
he's clearly lost
a bunch of weight. And throughout the movie, his weight seems to be reducing. Like when he's with his the premise is this. The premise is this. This is a couple, an established couple.
Right.
They enjoy their life together, but they have no interest in getting married, having children. So and there's a scene where they go to a dance class, and all the other couples are like, "When are you getting married? Like you guys are so into each other." And they're like, "Oh, we're never getting married, and we're never having children. We just like the way things are."
Yeah.
An obvious weirdness kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they're clearly best friends and into each other, and they tell they go to a party and tell their coworkers, you know, we don't go home for Christmas anymore.
Right.
Our deal is that we lie to our parents, who are both divorced, so they're 4, different sort of places to go, and we go on a vacation to the Caribbean or the Fiji or wherever. And they lie to their parents and say they're doing charity work, and then they book a trip, and then they go on the trip. In this particular instance, they're in San Francisco is where they live, and this big fog banks rolls in, and all of the planes are canceled.
Yeah,
and the news.
Like San Francisco's not dealt with fog in the past.
I know. This is biblical fog.
This is like there are monsters roaming this fog.
That's right. This is H.P. Lovecraft fog is what's going on here. And this
is a fog that ends with a guy killing his family in the car fog.
Exactly. That's right. Right before the military shows up.
Right.
No!
I knew there was a reason I liked you. No one else gets that joke. No.
Well, I'm surprised you would make that joke. You don't like horror movies.
No, but I've seen that movie.
Well, there you go.
Fog.
There you go. So they're getting ready to go on their trip to Fiji, and they've lied to their parents and said they're going to, I don't know, shave alpacas or something, for charity. Yeah. And the fog rolls in. That's not what it is. I made that up. I've already written a better movie.
Yeah.
The fog rolls in.
It is
something like that. They're going.
This dude showed up to the airport in the outfit he wanted to land in Fiji.
I know.
He came prepared.
Non-matching, oversized shorts.
And of course, my wife's sitting there. He gets your wardrobe.
He's been in your closet, honey.
Bust me, Patrick. Thank you very much.
I was like, Patrick would wear that shirt every day of the week, but he would never wear those shorts.
Yeah, no.
So
not with that.
He likes a more what is it? Muted color palette for the shorts. Yeah. Nothing
for
that
my
bright.
Short pants.
For your short pants.
I was looking. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You're in the news. You're in the news. All right. Like you're in this position. You've lied to your family. What do you do in that situation? Here's what I do.
If I'm a giant liar, I'm going to lie and say, hey, we were getting ready to go to... I'm just going to stick with a lie. We were going to get to go to Burma. But
we were connecting to Burma through Fiji.
Yeah. But that doesn't...
It was the most cost-effective route we could find. We're trying to save money for the alpacas.
And this was so funny because it was Fiji Airlines. Yeah. And the guy that was handling the desk at Fiji Airlines was Ralphie from Christmas Story.
Yeah.
So I didn't recognize him. No, not until you guys said, "Oh, it's him," and I was like, "Who?" And you're like, "It's Ralphie," and I was like, "Oh my God, look at it!" Yeah, you can't mistake those.
Billingsley.
Yeah, you can't mistake those blue eyes, man.
Oh man, no.
So, but anyway, they get caught on the TV camera showing that they are not leaving town. Yes. So all of their family calls them and says, "Hey, you have to come to Christmas."
Yeah.
So both of their parents are divorced.
So they have four Christmases.
They have to go to 2 mothers and 2 fathers.
Right.
So that's the premise. Boom, there you go. It only took 20 minutes to get out.
And they have to do it in a day. Like,
yeah.
I could understand that if you're trying to get it through. Like, you're just trying to get it done.
Because apparently it's Christmas Day.
Yeah, you want to get it done. And so they go to his father's house first.
No, this is my thing, which is dumb. Nobody leaves for a Christmas trip on Christmas Day.
Yeah, the morning of.
Yeah.
It would, like... There's logistics that have to go into this.
Yeah.
Like, luckily, all of them live along the, the Pacific Coast Highway.
Right.
And so you can get up in the morning.
Or in San Francisco.
Yeah, you can get up in the morning and be like, all right, I'll be there. Like, we'll get an early start. We'll be there at 8.
The timing is, the timing in this is like multiverse shit. Because there's no way they do all this stuff in the course of a day.
No, not with the drive.
Yeah, the second trip they go to they don't just go and visit the family. They go to church.
They're in a play. They're in a play.
But in all honesty, it's so entertaining. It's worth just sort of disregarding the fact that the timing doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, I think they could have played it for some more fun if they'd had to stay overnight in one of the places and it was spread out over 2 days.
Well, they did Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, right? That would have been better.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. They were supposed to leave.
Hey, we see you're not like.
They were supposed to leave on Christmas Eve. You don't even have to give up on the lie. Yeah.
You don't even your parents don't even have to know that you've lied to be like, oh, we see your trip is delayed a day. Come and hang out with us for Christmas Eve.
In all honesty, the first house they go to is Robert Duvall is Vince Vaughn's father, and Vince Vaughn is one of 3 sons, and Jon Favreau is one of his brothers.
Right.
I don't know who the other guy is, but they're apparently UFC fighters, not professional. They do this in people's backyards.
You want to know who the second son is?
Who?
All right, so Jon Favreau plays Denver.
Right.
Vince Vaughn plays Orlando.
Oh, yeah, and he plays Dallas.
Dallas, Tim McGraw.
Oh, is that Tim McGraw?
Tim McGraw.
No, I don't know enough to recognize Tim McGraw.
Yeah, I guess not. But I mean, these are big names. Like, like this is a 2008 movie.
Well, we started playing this game while we were watching it. Like, guess who the next parent is, and stuff. And of course, we didn't get it right. But Pat guessed that the father of Reese Witherspoon at the end is going to be John Lithgow, and I was like, perfect choice.
That would have been a good choice.
It was John Voight, but actually not far off in all honesty.
I still think John Lithgow would have been a better choice.
I think John Voight was perfectly fine because John Voight was the only sane parent in the bunch.
I don't know.
I mean, come on.
Robert Duvall was so over the top.
Yeah.
Like, that... You're going to, like, Hillbilly Central.
Yeah.
Like, the guy... His TV is a radio. Like,
yeah. But no, he's got the big ass cathode tube TV show that's black and white that barely gets a signal from an antenna on his roof. And Vince Vaughn brings him a satellite dish for Christmas, and while they're trying to, and he's like, the guy's coming next week to put it in. He's like, no, we don't have people come over. We put everything in ourselves.
I don't want a sex predator coming into my house.
That was hysterical.
So
the installation guy's a sex predator. But
we skipped over the whole idea of like as soon as they get there.
Yeah.
This is the first time she's ever met
his father. Yeah.
And
this is the funny thing.
His brothers come in and just lay the smack down on him.
That's right.
Like they're both mixed martial arts, but they do it in the backyard for YouTube cred.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Vince Vaughn, those two grew up with their dad.
Yeah.
Robert Duvall. He grew up with his mom, who you meet later, and he became a lawyer.
Yeah.
And they made
something of himself.
Yeah. And they became backyard UFC fighters.
I can totally understand, based on what I know about their two families, why Vince Vaughn wants to go on vacations.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure why Reese Witherspoon is so like, well, we're just going to like ignore our families and go.
Right. So in the second place they go is Reese Witherspoon's mother's place, who's Mary Steenburgen. Yeah. And
by the way, before we go any further, we have to talk about the size difference between these two actors.
That's true.
This is like forced perspective Hobbit stuff from the Lord of the Rings.
Vince Vaughn has to bend over at the waist to hug and kiss Reese Witherspoon.
He's just like,
She's like 4'11" and he's like 7 feet tall. You know, when they walk next to each other, she's wearing like 6-inch heels, and he's still like 20 inches taller than her. Like she barely comes up to his armpit.
How did they have a screen test together?
Here's the thing, man.
Is this sold in the room because you're like, we got Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon? They never met in real life.
Big stars at this time period. Reese is bringing in the crowds, and Vince is newly popular.
By the way, Reese is one of those women who I'm like, is she hot or not? Like,
she's my wife and I.
There's some times where I'm like, man, she's sexy, but like then she turns and I'm like,
I'm not sure about that. My wife and I call them one of those people.
Okay.
Like in K-dramas, this happens a lot.
Listen, don't use that terminology in like a lot of different companies because sometimes that's taken the wrong way.
Well, I'm still going to use it. I don't care. Because it's a very specific term for us.
One of those people.
Yeah. One of those people, I can't tell whether they're super hot or kind of weird looking.
This movie is kind of full of like Mary Steenburgen, Kristen Chenoweth. Like, there's a lot of those people in this movie.
No, that was the second. They go to see her mom, Mary Steenburgen.
Right.
And that's Kristen Chenoweth, her sister.
Right.
And the whole family, which is all women, and they're all very interested in in 7 foot tall Vince Vaughn.
Grandma was totally... Is that leather?
That's my belt. You can stop touching that now.
I need that.
And that's why she doesn't want to go to them. They tell her they tell him her embarrassing history where she was.
Yeah, of course.
She was Cootie Kate.
Everybody has embarrassing history, though.
That's fine. How long did that last? 7 years. You know.
Yeah.
She got trapped in a bouncy castle. She's always been terrified of them ever since then. So that was the thing about her. Right. And legitimately, one of the funniest bits in this thing was when the baby throws up on her.
Yeah.
And Vince Vaughn is just like, I can't be near you. Get away from me.
I'm gonna follow. Yeah.
There's nothing as much that is as funny as people like pretending to not try and throw up from something like that. Yeah. Because you totally get it. I mean, you get it.
Yeah. There's a certain reaction that people go through.
Well.
So yes, she's upset and like she takes a pregnancy test, kind of out of the blue. Like there's no like lead up to it, but
her sister, it's her sister's baby that throws up all over.
Right,
and she has her baby bag in the bathroom while Reese Witherspoon is cleaning the vomit off of her clothes and stuff.
That is a full strip down. Like, you take that to the studs.
Yeah. And they gave her like some bulky clothes to wear.
She's wearing that same outfit.
Well, she cleans it up somehow. That's a little weird. Yeah.
Like she should have been in that same like Christmas outfit.
Well, once again, we talked about how the timing is off. So what did they throw it in the washing machine and wash it for 20, 30 minutes and then dry it? And
no, that's not a tumble dry kind of outfit.
No. And once again, the Reese Witherspoon being one of those types of people, is she sexy or is she weird looking? I mean, she was wearing 6-inch heels, which she has a
which
nice...
took her to 5'6".
No,
5'4".
5'4"
All right, I gotta find out.
Well, you said 4'11", so 2 more inches to be 5, and then 4 inches. She was 5'4" in a 6-inch heels.
Reese Witherspoon.
But she's got nice legs, and so you got. She was wearing.
Reese Witherspoon in real life is 5'1" and 3/4.
Hollywood 5'1" and 3/4.
She is taller than
Selma Hayek.
Selma.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm buying it.
In this movie, she did not like they put her next to a bunch of oaks.
Yeah. They had her. They
did not do her any favors.
They had her feet like cut off so that they could like put apple crates.
Oh my god!
Strap apple crates to her feet so she could be in the same scene with Vince Vaughn. I mean, there were scenes where they were going upstairs. He was so gigantic next to her. It's like Shaq next to everybody.
Yes, of course, yeah.
So, So anyway, she gets thrown up on, and of course he's trying not to throw up, and he's been eating cookies for like 2 hours, and then they go to a church thing, which once again this is the timing thing. Like, how long did it take you to get to church? Yeah. They're in church.
You got costume changes. You got to learn parts. You got to do all kinds.
They get
of
voluntold to play Joseph and Mary in the church.
And she wants nothing to do with being Mary. And he totally gets into being Joseph.
Yeah. He does both of their lines. He does his lines and
he
her
goes
lines.
off script.
Yeah. Exactly.
Totally goes off script. He's got the whole audience in his hand. And so, like, that's one of those scenes where they're like, Vince, you just do Vince things.
Yeah, just do your thing,
Vince things.
What I liked about the movie, too, what was fun, is that could be a scene where they could play it where she's pissed at him.
Right.
For doing that, and when she didn't want to, but they glossed that over. It was like, it's fine.
Yeah. If he had volunteered first and told her, you're doing this too, then then she can be pissed.
Right.
But she got told and then told him.
Right.
He wasn't like standing up. The most unbelievable about, and I think I said this during the watch, the most unbelievable thing about that entire scene was that nobody else in that church raised their hand to volunteer to be Mary and Joseph.
I know.
This was Cult of Personality Church from the drop.
Right.
Like, everything. Like, every dude.
They would have been a rush to the stage to play Mary and Joseph,
women would have been throwing their pants at Pastor Ron or whatever.
Well, it was funny because Mary Steenburgen...
I said pants, by the way. Did you see that?
Yeah, you didn't say short pants or anything like that. Or panties. Which apparently ladies don't like us to say, but
because I'm British.
Mary Steenburgen was into the pastor, and like he comes out and he's like all like receding hairline and hair is stringy and too long.
Played by? Do you know?
Sam Kinison.
No, Dwight Yoakam.
Dwight Yoakam
played Pastor.
Man, they had some country stars in there, man.
Yeah,
but
somebody owed somebody a favor. That's all I gotta say.
They were just loading the cast up, man. That was a fun scene, you know. And after Vince's Joseph outfit, he had the pants on them way too short. Yeah. Like he was wearing a mini skirt. Yeah. And he was like, "Are these too short?"
And they were showing off his calf. They were showing off his midriff.
Well, he'd been working out. He was already thinner there.
Doing some squats
than he was in the very first scene and stuff. But. So when she was with her mom at the house,
and that baby, the baby that they had for baby Christ, no,
they were like, this baby is so cute, and
it was not.
That was
cute.
Like, no, not a cute baby.
No, it was not a cute.
It was
baby.
A giant baby, but once again, it was in Reese Witherspoon's arms, and she's like 4 or 5. She's tiny, you know.
There's very few babies that I've ever seen that had jowls.
I know. I know. His cheeks were so chubby. It was ridiculous. That poor baby.
Yeah. So then they finish that and they go on to the third parent.
I think that was baby Butterbean.
Butterball. You remember?
You know who Butterbean is, right?
Yeah, the boxer.
The boxer.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. The timing doesn't work out.
Not at all.
So the third parent that they have to go to, his mother.
Sissy Spacek.
Right? Sissy Spacek.
Yeah. Pat's pulling these stars' names out of his head. He's just like, Sissy Spacek. And he's like, I don't even know how I knew that. Like, I could come up with that name.
I was drinking bourbon at the time, so, you know.
and the weirdness in this situation, this is Vince Vaughn's mother,
right?
Is that she is shacked up with Vince Vaughn's best friend from high school.
Yeah. I just wanted you to be my friend.
I was your friend. We were best friends.
I just wanted to be your friend.
Your mother is a very sexual woman. Yeah, this is actually a trope. This is a joke that shows up in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's endlessly funny, though.
Yeah.
It is.
This is where MILF comes from. Hi, Mom.
Yep. Your mom's looking it up right
don't
now.
Google that.
Yeah,
do not.
You're going to end up on lists.
You'll be on so many lists.
You're going to get some websites pop up that you do not want to look at.
And do not. Okay. Not only do you not Google that, Do not ask me about that the next time I come over.
Now, if you do Google it and some good sites show up, then email me and tell me where they are. So
we live in Virginia.
I know. Nothing's going to show up. They're going to like put in all your information, your social security number, your date of birth. Exactly. We need a picture and a blood test. But anyway, so they're at Sissy SpaceX. She's shacked up with the best friend. They end up playing a game of Taboo or something like that. Yes. And I thought that was very funny because the mother just couldn't quite get the rules down. Like, she got like
you can't say that.
Yeah, there's a word you're supposed to say, and there's a list of words under it that you can't say. The person who's trying to get the other person to say the special word. And
I just liked how Jon Favreau and Katie Mixon were
they ripped it up. Yeah, the thing that you keep next to your bed.
That could be so many things.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun. That bit.
Yeah.
And then they finally go to the last house, which is.
All right, I'm opening my other beer.
Yeah, I'm about to do mine too. Reese Witherspoon's father, and it's not John Lithgow.
John Lithgow.
As much as we wished it was.
It is a John, though.
It is a John. It was John Voight. And here's the thing. He's the only sane one. Like, God knows what this guy does, but he lives in a palatial...
money.
He lives in a palatial mansion.
Yeah. In California.
Right.
Because clearly they can't drive out of state.
No. Not to get to all of these things.
Yeah. And by this time, we've got the third act breakup as well.
Yes. So she reveals that she took the pregnancy test to Vince. And it's spoilers. Turn this off if you're going to watch this movie. Turns out it was negative. Like there was no baby. But she's like, throughout this entire...
Did I say
that?
All right, so yes, John Voight is the parent who's actually survived.
Wait, we're talking about third act breakup.
Or yes, as they are driving to John Voight's house, she's saying, we've got this rule set where we're carefree and like we're never going to have kids, but I want to change this. And he's like, well, that's bullshit. You can't pull this on me. Like,
well, throughout the movie, she kept getting handed babies. That was kind of the underlying thing. She was handed her sister Kristen Chenoweth's baby, which she threw up all over. Yeah, but she was able to. Oh no,
she actually, and then like slammed it against the.
No, that was actually at Robert Duvall's house. She had She had
Katie Mixon.
Yeah, she had Katie Mixon's baby, and she was trying to calm it down, and it ended up being calmed down
until she whacked it against the cupboard.
And then when the house started to fall apart because of the satellite dish, she tried to protect the baby by swinging it around. And she cracked its head against the open pantry door, and it started crying, and she was just like.
So does she handle a baby in every one of these?
Yeah.
Because she's got the baby Jesus.
Well, she has the baby, Katie Mixon's baby. Then she has the baby that throws up all over herself, and then she has the baby Jesus, right? And then there's no baby.
There's no baby at
but she's already taken the pregnancy test,
right?
And after dealing with all of these babies, she started to realize that she might want a baby.
Mother one day would be all right.
So she reveals it.
It doesn't have to happen right now.
Right. She reveals it to Vince Vaughn on their way to her father's house, the last of the 4 Christmases.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no, I don't. I've been honest this whole time. It was a very interesting conversation, and I like Vince Vaughn's character's approach because he never loses his temper. He never really gets angry. He just is like. No,
I've been honest with you from the get-go.
Yep, and I'm not changing my mind. And she understands
that she's the one changing the rules.
Right.
Like, she's the one who's been like, I was on board for us being like,
just sex buddies, yeah.
Well, yeah, never getting married, never having children, like, taking every vacation we could, There were a couple of little clues. Early on, she's like, does this seem like the same vacation we've taken every time? That kind of...
Right.
But still, like, she's the one who changes the rules. And
his response isn't angry or like, you're betraying me. He's just like, no, I don't want to do this. Yeah. So, like, I've told you all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of nice because you get those movies where that uncomfortable reaction, which is not necessarily...
Sometimes the third act breakup is so...
Contrived
and like cringy that you kind of. I've had movies where I've sat through a rom-com and I'm like, I gotta pause this for just a little bit because I know what's gonna happen.
Right.
I gotta take a bit. I gotta maybe eat some chocolate, drink some bourbon or whatever, and then I'll come back into this.
Then I'll suffer through this.
Yeah.
We just fast forward through that bullshit. We're just like, I'm not interested in watching any of that garbage. We'll get to the point where we figure out what the aftermath is.
Yeah, but you're not a completionist like I am.
That's true. But there was nothing like that. These guys were completely honest. But once they were separated, she's with her family, and her father is the only sane one in the family.
Must be making good money because he's had multiple divorces and still has that house.
Right.
Like whatever. Like maybe he's a congressman. I don't know.
Maybe.
He's making good money.
Tech giant.
That house is really nice.
Yeah. In San Francisco, probably tech giant. But was
he in San Francisco or was he?
It was all sort of centered around San Francisco. How far could you drive to go to 4 different people's houses?
I mean, it's a 6-hour. I think it's a 6-hour drive from San Francisco to L.A. all along the Pacific Coast.
And this is my point. There's only 24 hours in a day, and they were already at the airport in the morning, so it's not like... Yeah. How early do you go to the airport? 5 a.m.?
No, not in their case.
It was light out, when the
fog
rolled in.
That airport was packed with lots of flights that got canceled because of fog.
Exactly. I don't think these people know how radar works, man.
No, I think, you take off, you get over the fog, you're okay. You can get out of that.
It doesn't go all the way up.
No. It's not like a column.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It doesn't fill the whole atmosphere to space.
Stop worrying about the timing of things. This was all okay. It all was a 24-hour thing.
So they had a lovely dinner, and Vince Vaughn, he went back and saw his father, and his father was still a giant dick. But he realized with his
complaining about his wife.
Well, what was funny? I think what was the turn was when he told his father that his girlfriend Reese Witherspoon had said, I want more with you. I want to have a family with you. And Vince Vince
dad's
admits,
thank God you got rid of her.
Yeah, admits it, and Vince Vaughn says, I said no. He's like, oh, you're just like me. Oh, that's the worst thing you could say, man.
Oh, my God. Especially since you're seeing where he's living, and you're like, oh, man.
Yeah.
This is a glorified double wide. Half
the shingles are off it. You've been drinking beer all day. You're out here sitting alone on the porch drinking beer on Christmas.
With 2 sons you're proud of who are backyard WWE fighters?
Yeah, UFC fighters.
It's just wrong.
So at that point, he's just like, okay, this is the only person that I do not want to be like. Yeah. So he goes back. They have the makeup.
And his mom is just too much into love. She wants to listen. She wants to go to Pound Town with the priest.
Her mom.
Yeah,
that's her mom. His mom.
Yeah, his mom.
His mom in the same fashion.
Wants to go Pound Town with his best friend.
His best friend. Yeah.
Man. Everybody's got a very healthy relationship in this movie.
Well, so they're like, we don't have to have a baby right away, but we're going to stay together. We're going to have, and once again,
shows up at his.
They never talk about whether they got married or not. We assume they didn't.
I don't think they did. Yeah. Because the whole thing is, the makeup scene is he shows back up at her father's house,
John Voight's house,
and they meet kind of at the door and. Luckily, she's on a stair, so he's only 6 inches taller than her.
She's on a mansion stoop, so that he's still only a foot taller than she is.
Yeah, and so they have this heartfelt thing, and he's like, "Listen, I just want to be with you. I don't need to block off any particular opportunities.
I'm not against having kids, but we don't have to do it right away. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be right away.
We're not going to do it right away.
Yeah, and then a
year later,
they have a baby.
Yeah, very cute baby.
Yes, for a change. for a change.
I can't, and the whole joke
they went to
of
Cute Babies R Us to finally get a cute baby.
Yeah, we cannot have a chunky kid.
Yeah.
Like
they're as big as Reese. We can't do this again.
Yeah, well, baby Jesus coming out of Reese doesn't make sense.
Exactly. She can barely carry that baby. I think she dislocated a shoulder.
She would have been like a wishbone.
Exactly.
So yeah, they're like the joke of this scene is that they have not actually told any of their family that they're having a baby because they don't want to be like.
They don't want them involved. Once again, it's just like the lying about the sort of.
And this all happens on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, like. That's when it's happening. They're the first baby born on New Year's.
Yeah. So once again, the news folks show up again, and Vince Vaughn. I can't really like relay the joke of Vince Vaughn becoming completely nonverbal when the news shows up. Because he's just like there was suction, like they had a vacuum, know, like he's just
total deer in the headlights.
Yeah, he's just making random words and stuff, and it's hysterical because he's such a fast talker the rest of the time.
Yeah, and that's how the movie ends. I mean, like basically it's setting it up. I can't imagine there would be a follow-up to this movie.
It wasn't setting it up for anything.
No,
but it's like all rom-coms.
It's a nice bookend to it, where like we've lied through this. We're still like the same people we have. We've just grown a bit. Like we're willing to like have some kids. And
well, I was going to say that's the kind of thing about this movie. The emotional growth arc had nothing to do with them reconciling with their families. They still hate their families.
Right.
Yeah. It was about them.
None of their families grew at all. And just be clear.
Well, her father didn't need to grow. He was an actual adult. And in that story arc right there, that anthology bit,
he'd gone through a couple of divorces, so there was some issue there.
But he had reconciled with his wife, and their families were now friendly, and he loved his granddaughter
to the point where she actually invited Pastor Ron
to the dinner. Yeah. Apparently, there's no chastity thing going on with that church.
Well, who knows?
Mary Steenburgen is one of those women who.
Is she one of those people?
She is one of those people.
Yeah,
but I think she's lovely.
Absolutely, the height of her loveliness was. Back to the Future 3. Come on, man.
You're pulling out Back to the Future fucking 3.
Well, that's where she is the loveliest.
She probably was, but in a very like schoolmarm kind of way.
What are you talking about?
Okay, like, I'm learning so much about you, man.
You're the one who's like, hey, librarians, do it for me.
No, I mean that's true, but not 1860s Western librarians that. Entirely covered up.
All right, so Rotten Tomatoes. What are we doing? Tomatometer and popcornometer.
They have a popcornometer on this?
Of course they do. Yes.
Okay.
Tomatometer. Where are you falling on a tomatometer?
70.
70. All right. Popcornometer. Where are you falling on that?
80.
All right. Tomatometer. 25%. Popcornometer. 47%.
Man, some people don't love a Christmas rom-com.
Yeah. Jesus. This whole movie is ridiculous.
It was a ton of fun.
It was a ton of fun. Oh my God. All right, so I went to commonsensemedia.org. All right? So
that is one of my favorite sites. I go to that every day just because, you know what? I need more common sense in my life, and I'm not getting it. So
this is where...
Plus it's an org.
Yeah,
I love an org.
Well, yeah, because you don't want gov.
Who doesn't love an org?
No, you don't want to... No.
You want an org. You got to have an org.
So this is where apparently parents go to write reviews about the appropriateness of movies.
Really?
Yeah.
We should be on this site more often. Can we join and just troll it?
Of course.
Yeah.
So these are parent reviews. Love the movie, but not for kids.
Okay. Because sex is involved. Like they're talking about having babies and stuff.
Well,
kids don't need to know about having babies.
Just wait. I personally love the movie, but I would never let my kids watch it. Because? A lot of sex references, a good amount of swearing, but as somebody else mentioned very early in the movie, he tells a kid his parents are Santa.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, here's one. All right, this is a long one, but I'm only going to read the first sentence.
Yep.
Because this will indicate the kind of person who writes these things. All right?
I'm not sure I need to know this. This might make me angry.
All right, so first sentence, more on the adult side. Mm-hmm. All right? 4 out of 5 stars here. All right?
Pretty good. And I don't disagree with that. This is more on the adult side. Yep.
This is the kind of movie where you'll either love it or hate it. Second sentence, I didn't love it nor hate it.
That's a problem. Yeah.
Here's one. 4 stars out of 5. I laughed and felt a little uncomfortable.
What more do you want in the movie? Come on.
All right, so here's one. All right. 3 out of 5 stars. Title is just bad. A funny movie, ... but not when you take your Santa-believing 8-year-old. A lot of references flew overhead, but it's still horrible.
Well, I once again, I don't know what the rating is, but yeah. If you're unaware that there's...
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's for adults. It's not... You bring your 8-year-old to a movie where there's sex involved and stuff. Yeah.
All right, so 2 out of 5 stars. Funny, but sends the wrong message. I thought the movie was funny several times, but have to say that I was disappointed in the portrayal of Mary and Joseph in the church scene.
That's a legitimate criticism. Oh my God. I love that. I love that.
I think I need to bookmark this website.
That is so funny.
My biggest problem with this is the historical accuracy.
Oh my God. Man, I'm gonna have to trim down this for YouTube.
So dumb. Well, I do think it sends the wrong message.
All right. You got me. My mouth is open.
Oh my God. Wrap it up.
That's about as good a place to end as possible. Very rarely does this podcast bring out tears.
All right, breathing exercises.
Man. All right, so the dame has spoken, so it is time for us to wrap it up.
All right, that was a good one.
As always, I've been Mary.
And I've been Joseph.
You guys are weird.